You ever wake up thinking you've finally got life figured out, only to have someone show up on your doorstep and try to snatch it all away? Because that's how my war started, standing in the morning sun, sweat on my brow, staring down an HOA president who'd just declared, "This road belongs to us now." There she was, hair neat as a helmet, clipboard with gold lettering, standing right where my brand new blacktop was still steaming, as if she'd paved it herself. And behind her, a steel gate, bold as you please, cutting right across the driveway I built with my own 2 hands. I had every permit, every scrap of paperwork, every county sign-off. But she had money, lawyers, and a plan I didn't see coming, not until it was too late. My name's Luke Barrett. I never set out to be a fighter, not in the sense folks mean when they talk about courtrooms and protests. I just wanted some peace, a quiet life, a little land, and a road home that wouldn't swallow my pickup after a rainstorm. For 20 years, I worked as a civil engineer, drawing plans for city sidewalks and parking lots. Always building someone else's dream, you know? Then my dad passed, and everything shifted. I sold what little I had left, bought 15 acres out where the map fades, and found myself staring at a jungle of weeds, busted fences, and one sad little dirt path. Here's the thing no one tells you about chasing freedom. It comes with mud, lots of it. My so-called road was just a rut that turned to soup if a cloud so much as sneezed. Delivery trucks stopped trying. My old Chevy got stuck 3 times in 1 week. So, I rolled up my sleeves. Weeks of paperwork, fees, phone calls, county, surveys, access permits, drainage plans, the whole 9 yards. When the county officer finally stamped my permit and said, "You're good to go," I could have danced a jig right there in the courthouse. I rented a little bulldozer, poured gravel by hand. Front gate. My neighbor, old Mr. Hayes, leaned on his fence one evening and shook his head. "You did all that yourself?" he said. I nodded, dirty as a ditch digger, and he just laughed. "You've done more in 2 months than the HOA has in 2 years. That was the first I ever heard of Pine Hollow Estates and their precious homeowners association. Thought nothing of it at the time. Their houses were over the ridge, fancy stone mailboxes, rules for their rules. Figured we'd never cross paths. Guess I was dead wrong. The day I finished, I stood at the edge of my land. Snapped a photo, fresh asphalt glowing gold in the evening, sky wide and open. I felt proud. Until a black SUV rolled by slow, tinted windows, no plates. I shrugged it off as a lost realtor, until next morning, a white envelope sat on my gate. Pine Hollow Estates, gold embossed, like it was from the governor. Notice of concern. Your road may cross HOA common space. I laughed out loud. My land wasn't part of their world. Still, I called the county clerk. "Mr. Barrett, your permit's valid. That's public access. They can't touch you." I hung up, still grinning, thinking that was the end of it. A week later, I opened my door to a sharp knock. 2, exactly. Diane McCall, president of Pine Hollow HOA, stood on my porch, gray suit, silver hair, and a look that could freeze coffee. "We need to talk about your road." She flipped open a folder, old map inside, faded and torn. "This section is HOA land," she said, tapping a line. I told her the county cleared it. She smiled, thin and cold. "Mistakes can get expensive, Mr. Barrett. You might want to reconsider." Then she turned on her heel, climbed into her black SUV, and left me staring after her, wondering how anyone could sound so polite and threaten you at the same time. Days went by. I tried to ignore her, but the pit in my stomach kept growing. Then, one afternoon, she returned, this time flanked by 2 men. In dress shirts and sunglasses, looking more like loan officers than neighbors. "This is a violation of Community Code 7.3, the taller one announced, waving a little binder. "Your road crosses our conservation buffer." I told him, plain as day, "I'm not part of your community. This is public access." Diane's smile never wavered. "Then I hope you have a good lawyer." When they left, I felt the silence settle, like a storm just waiting for the first crack of thunder. They started slow, another letter, another visit, always polite, always a little more threatening. A man with a camera took photos of my house and road, then sped away. Next day, a letter, unauthorized structure. Cease use immediately or legal action will follow. I stared at that line a long time, then called the county again. Ruth, a no-nonsense woman, answered. Don't panic. Their boundary ends 50 feet before your road. They're bluffing. Let me pull the maps and I'll call you. Tomorrow. That night, I sat on my porch, watching the dark swallow up the road I'd built, wondering how long before someone came to take it for good. Then came the escalation, letters promising property seizure, emails warning of damages, whispers around town that maybe I'd built on someone else's land. Every morning, a new envelope, each threat sharper than the last. Most people would have given up. Maybe that was the plan. But I couldn't. Not when I'd followed every rule, not when I had proof. I drove to the county office and met Ruth in person. She showed me the original survey, clean and clear. The HOA's version? Hand-drawn, line pushed 20 feet past where it belonged, swallowing my driveway. Somebody thought no one would check, she said. Well, they were. Wrong. From then on, it was war. They set up cameras, hammered stakes in the ground with pink ribbons, posted warnings. Ruth connected me with a lawyer, Evan Boyd, sharp as a tack. Voice like steady thunder. Don't argue, he said. Don't respond to their threats. Just document everything. That night, headlights flashed on my road at 2 a.m. I stepped outside to find 3 trucks and a work crew welding a black steel gate across my driveway. Orders from Pine Hollow. The foreman grunted. I filmed it all, heart pounding. By morning, my only road home was padlocked. Tight. The police showed up, shrugged, called it a civil matter. Diane arrived with her lawyer, all smooth words and fake concern. We're just protecting our property, she told the officers. I showed my permit. She waived her deed from 2004. Until this is resolved, the road stays closed. The cops said their hands were tied. File a complaint, one told me. Let the court sort it out. So that's what I did. I posted the whole mess online, video of the gate, photos of my permit, every detail. Within hours, folks were sharing it. Some called me stubborn, others a troublemaker. But most said the same thing, classic HOA abuse. Stand your ground. Public pressure rattled them, but they didn't stop. Someone left a box on my porch, a photo of the gate and a note. You can't win. Sell while you still can. My lawyer just told me, don't react. That's what they want. But I couldn't help feeling boxed in, outnumbered. That's when I got a call from RD, Ruth Delgado, now retired, but she'd seen my video and remembered the project. Their maps don't match the originals, she said. Let me come out and take a look. Next morning, she arrived in a beat-up pickup, marched the land with me, and pointed to an old metal stake. There, the real boundary, 20 feet outside Pine Hollow's line. Proof, plain as day. The more we dug, the uglier it got. Ruth found old disputes, same playbook every time. Fines, threats, buyouts. She tracked down the man who'd drawn the original maps, a draftsman named Elliot Crane. Nervous, shaky hands. But he remembered. They asked me to shift the boundary in 2004. I told them it wasn't right, but they insisted. He still had the notes, red pencil, boundary shifted at client request, not verified. Ruth found another smoking gun. The stamp on the fake map was dated a Saturday. County offices aren't open then, she said. Someone did this off the books. We scanned everything, signatures, ink, every scrap of paper. When we handed it to Evan, he just grinned. This changes everything. We filed new motions, added charges of fraud and falsification. Suddenly, the HOA was in panic mode. Elliot got a visit from their legal team, pushing him to hand over old files, but he held firm. Lock your doors, I warned him. Don't talk to anyone but me or Evan. Word spread. News crews showed up. Diane went on TV, painting me as the villain. Community under attack, she said. They showed her lush green lawns, then cut to my farm. Dust, a broken fence, a few chickens. The message was clear, good people versus the outsider. Folks started picking sides. My produce stand was empty. Spray paint showed up on my gate. Go home. But I kept posting videos, just the facts. Showing the permits, the maps, the truth. More and more people rallied behind me. Let Luke through, trending for days. Finally, court day arrived. The courthouse was packed. Neighbors, reporters. Even some of the Pine Hollow folks glaring from the front row. Evan opened strong. This isn't about confusion. It's about greed. My client followed every rule. He put up the maps, showed the doctored stamp, called Elliot to the stand, who told the whole story. Ruth, too, calm and precise, walked the judge through every document. When my turn came, I told it straight. I just wanted a road to my home. I did it by the book. They put up a gate and tried to erase me. HOA's lawyer tried to spin it. Old paperwork, misunderstandings, but it was too late. The judge, sharp-eyed and tired of nonsense, cut him off. Fraud doesn't expire. She said she'd rule in 7 days. Those 7 days felt like a lifetime. Then, one morning, Evan called, voice shaky with excitement. We won, Luke. Every count. The judge called out Pine Hollow for fraud. The road's yours. They owe you damages and have to take down the gate. I sat down hard, couldn't even speak. For the first time in months, I felt the weight lift. 3 days later, the county showed up with saws and crowbars. Ruth handed me a certified letter. This time, it's official. The gate came down. With a crash, the sign tossed in the back of a truck. Folks who'd kept their distance started stopping by again, shaking my hand, buying tomatoes, asking about the wild sunflowers I'd planted along the road. Maria, my sister, came out and sat on the porch with me, watching the sun set over a road that was finally, undeniably mine. You know what I learned? Justice is slow, messy, and never certain, but it's real if you're stubborn enough. If you ever find yourself up against people who mistake money for right, remember this. Sometimes, the truth just needs someone to fight for it. They tried to block my road, but all they really did was pave the way for justice. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to stand your ground against bullies hiding behind rules? Where do you draw the line between order and control? Drop your story in the comments. And if you're the kind who likes seeing the underdog win, hit subscribe. Because out here, the only thing stronger than a locked gate is a stubborn heart and the truth on your side.